Rayman Legends 100% walkthrough. This will be for 20,000 lums under the sea, and I believe this is the level elevator ambush. Yes, it is. So this is probably one of the longer levels in the Rayman game, and that's just because there's a lot of auto-scroller sequences which you can't control how quickly you get through them. But even though that's there, it's not really too bad of a level. There are a couple of challenging parts, but not too many. So be sure to free that first teensy. It's a little bit risky getting it as early as I did, but I'm trying not to waste as little. I'm trying to waste as little time as I possibly can. And of course, getting this teensy, you want to come up here to the right and then jump up, hit it, and then swim back down. So once again, if you are inside the light for a couple of split seconds, then you will be fine, but if you're in there for any prolonged period of time, you will not be fine. If you have a heart at this part, you can ground pound to get through it extremely easily, but you will get zapped by that electricity, and as you get zapped, you'll jump up, and if you react quick enough, you can jump over to the left, and all that does is make you lose a heart and makes that section a little bit easier, but it may not be worth it depending on who you are. I think sometimes it is worth it. I just didn't want to be a show-off for the camera, and I wanted to make sure I got that golden coin anyway. And you also get a heart in this first elevator sequence, so it doesn't really matter. You want to make sure in these elevator sequences that you try to kill any of the enemies as quickly as possible, because if you let them multiply, then you're going to have a lot of enemies with a lot of electricity balls bouncing around, and it's just really annoying. This first elevator is not too hard at all because there's no electricity, or there's no security lights, sorry, not electricity, there's a lot of electricity, but there's no security lights trying to stop you. So you only have to pay attention to where the enemies are and how to get to them. But even then, it's not really too difficult of a part. So once you get past it, you'll end up in this room, which has this very interesting guy which likes picking up garbage and throwing it at you. Now, if you saw the rubber duck before I killed him, that rubber duck won't hurt you, but it can push you around, and sometimes it will kill you because it pushes you off the platform or something. And here's a part where I actually died shortly after I jumped up here, which is why there was an edit. And those guys, they take 2 hits or 2 jumps normally, I think, or 1 ground pound or 1 like attacking hit. So for this royalty teensy, you can make your way through some of these security lights just by boosting, by attacking, but you also have to wait for the centipede to block the light in some places, so it's kind of pointless to do anyway because you have to wait for him, so it doesn't really matter. But for that last one, you don't have to wait, and you can just skip the security light and get the teensy. Headphones are really loud. I wonder why they're that loud. So anyway, this next part is more underwater levels. That poor teensy is being crushed by the pillar from Portal, and there's more barnacles and torpedo Teds. Luckily, these torpedo Teds are not homing torpedo Teds, and yes, as someone else commented, I know they're not actually torpedo Teds, I just say that because they look like the torpedo Teds from the Super Mario series. Now these torpedo Teds do like to home in on you, but they're extremely slow and you don't really have to worry about them. With these enemies, try not to attack them head on, try to go on from the top or the bottom just to avoid being hit with their gun right from the start, because nobody wants that. So for this royalty teensy, you need to use this platform to your advantage. Like right here, you need to wait for it to block out the light so you can get that cage of lums, and then you need to jump down here so you can walk on the bottom of the platform without getting zapped. And if you rush on over and hit the teensy cage quick enough, you won't have to wait for it to make its way over, but it's up to you really. And I was really annoyed that that guy hit me. So here, to help things out, because this is a little bit more challenging of a elevator level, you get this fist, and that is very helpful with keeping the enemies to a minimum. So for this, the big thing is really learning where all of the lights are. So the first one is on the right, and well, you can just stay on this little right platform here, and you'll be safe for the first light and also for the second light. And at the same time, you want to make sure that you keep the enemies down to a minimum so you're not having to deal with them and the lights. For the third light, stay in the middle. For the fourth light, stay to the left. And these next lights, which you'll have to go to the right one for the fifth one, can be a little bit annoying because they send these guys on jetpacks and James Bond lines to, you know, keep you from killing them. But that's not really too hard once you learn which lights to avoid. And then you'll run into this wizard teensy, who of course is not very nice to the noses of other teensies. And you enter yet another chasing sequence. Now this one is actually one of the more fun ones, I thought. But it's not really auto-scroller chasing either. So be careful with that guy and be careful with these other guys that you see. Make sure you don't get hit by them because that would be annoying, and as you can tell, I did die at some point. Also, use these, what are they called? Use the rings that are on the walls to your advantage. They're there for a reason. And if you spin jump with the fist, you get this big flaming fist that does a lot of damage, goes through many enemies and goes through many barriers, and that is extremely helpful. So for this part, he throws down in two different places. Just be sure to avoid the one that he's throwing in if you're jumping there. And destroy him, come out here, get the heart, and now you'll have to chase this teensy for real. And these these underwater scenes were just so cool. I loved the scenery in this game. Now, a part coming up here is actually a little bit challenging. This first security light part isn't too bad. Just follow where he goes because for some reason he's not immune to it. And then destroy any of the enemies if you need extra lums. Keep following him to avoid the torpedo Teds, and boost swim if you want to give yourself that extra boost. And then work your way over here. Oh no, I'm thinking of a different level. Okay, never mind, that wasn't hard at all. Well, once you finish that, then that will be the end of this level.